Hey guys, Richard here, and I'm here to bring you guys a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, and now with the release of Samurai Jack Season 5, Episode 1 out, I thought now's the best time to do that. Now, two things, I repeat, I will not be doing my Bane reaction tomorrow, my Death Battle Preview Bane reaction, because I've already seen his preview told to me by one of my subscribers, and I liked his prediction, and I saw it on Screw Attack, and I thought, okay, it's just repeating the same one, and the end joke's not as funny, so I'm going to just wait until I see Bane's whole analysis next Monday. So just letting you guys know, again, I will not be posting my reaction to his preview tomorrow. And second thing is, you're probably wondering, okay, why did I just say my first name? Why didn't I say my whole name? Well, it's because I wanted to try something new. You all know me as Richard Korra Kenobi. That's my YouTube OC, and that's a character that I consider myself to just give you guys my thoughts. So what people seem to, again, for those people who just don't understand, when I yell or make rants, it's all for the sake of comedy. It's me trying to be funny to explain the point. That's why I did my final Cartoon Network rant, because I felt like I've been making videos on them for years, and each one I have this mentality that, what if I'm just so pissed off, I'm so angry that I sometimes mess up my words, and I just am so in pain that I don't really care to look up information or research, only in preparation. So I like to consider myself and Richard Korra Kenobi two different people, because I put a lot of hard work into making that character what he is, and I just thought, why not just make a video where I talk to you guys as my personal self? So this is not going to be Richard Korra Kenobi. This is just going to be me, Richard M. My last name starts with an M, but if you're friends with me on Facebook, and Twitter, you know what my last name is. So yes. Now, I'm here to ask you guys a personal question, and I want to make you guys understand. Is 2017 going to be the best year for animated TV shows? This is a good question, because last year was not a great year. I mean, we had some lackluster TV shows. Teen Titans Go was still going strong. It was the debut of the new Powerpuff Girls, which we all thought maybe it could have been better. It could have had potential, but it didn't. Then we had the 20th season of South Park, which was their weakest one and had mixed opinions, and the political commentary just was a bit on the head, and it just wasn't to people's liking. So, yes, but it was mostly a great year for animated films. Animated films last year were amazing. You had Zootopia, you had Kubo the Two Strings, you had Sing, even though I know that's kind of weird to mention that film. You had Moana. You just had a lot of great new animated films that were just amazing. And now we're basically in a year where TV shows, animated TV shows specifically, are getting a lot better. And I know that's weird, right? Because last year there were some great things related to animation, TV shows specifically. We had the revival of Young Justice Season 3. Now we're getting it. We had Samurai Jack to look forward to. We had DuckTales to look forward to. We had Big Hero 6. We even had the second season of Star vs. the Forces of Evil, which, by the way, is an amazing show on Disney XD. Please go check it out before Season 3 and 4 get here. Then, of course, you had Steven Universe, still going strong. You had MLP, yes, but to me, Season 6 wasn't as good as Season 5, and so on and so forth. So you basically had some good animated shows last year, but you didn't have a whole bunch of them. And that's what I miss about the good old days. The early 90s to, the middle 90s to late 90s to early 2000s were the greatest decade for animated shows. You had a lot of them coming out like that. And Cartoon Network back then, as we know, they were basically now the kings. After Disney had broken off and they kind of went downhill, and they went really downhill, Cartoon Network took over, and from 1995 to 2005, they became the undisputed kings of the small screen, putting out great show after great show. And there was rarely a dud. There was rarely a bad show produced by Cartoon Network because they cared. They cared about bringing in new fans to their network, and each show was amazing in its own right. But then, of course, after 2005 to now, we all know what happened. Now Cartoon Network is basically, they're basically going backwards in how they do their shows. Because now, as I don't think I've said this before, they're all about money. They're all about the merchandise. They are more about just bringing newer generations in than hooking the old ones. So to them, we, the old generation, we are completely above and below them. So we're above them in a way where we know we're above them because of how we voice our concerns and how we tell them they're flawed and they are getting worse and worse and worse as a network. But we're also below them in their eyes, in the executives and the guys in the big suits and the ties. We're below them because they don't care about us anymore. They care about money. They all care about merchandise. And if it means bringing back an old show that we used to love for newer generations, then they'll do that. And they will not care about us because it doesn't benefit us in the long run. It benefits them and it benefits kids. But now, with the release of Samurai Jack Season 5, finally after 13 years, this is where it's all going to change. Because Samurai Jack, for what I've been doing for the past few days, I've been looking at each YouTuber, whether big or small, I've been looking at their reviews for Season 5 and Episode 1. And it's mostly been positive. Positive. Everybody, including me, has praised the first episode. It is what many people now, it can now be considered the best episode of of Samurai Jack. It can now be considered one of the top 5 best episodes. Maybe even better than the premiere. And that's hard to believe, isn't it? We now live in a day and age where a cartoon comes back from a long hiatus, and it's perfect. No complaints, no cash grab, no merchandising, no half-assery. It's just perfect. It's just like how it used to be. The characters are now taken in dark and mature directions. They've grown with us. The art is still the same, but slightly better and improved. And the themes they talk about are things we never would have seen talked about back then. It's just perfect. And this baffled me because it feels like everybody was transported to a parallel universe where this season came out like a month after it went on hiatus. Because now you can just perfectly watch this season and the last 4 seasons, and it'll feel like you never left. It feels like this show never did truly leave. It feels like we've just discovered it in a time capsule. So that's crazy. And now that Samurai Jack is just as good, if not better than he ever has been, this begs the question, a question that we all must ask ourselves, and that 2017 may give us the answer. Will other networks pay attention to this? Yes, they have, actually, because you look at Disney. Let's look at Disney XD, for example. They have been producing hit after hit after hit after hit. Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, Star Wars Rebels, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Milo Murphy's Law, now with the new DuckTales, and Big Hero 6, and so many others. They are not like Cartoon Network, because they have, For the longest time, Disney used to be the kings. They were the kings of the 90s. Excuse me. They were everywhere on the small screen. You had amazing good shows, and then Cartoon Network took over that. And in the early 2000s, Disney was trying to adapt. They were trying to keep up, because now they were rivals to Cartoon Network. So back then, you would either be a fan of Cartoon Network or Disney. And now that Cartoon Network has gone completely backwards of how it used to be, Disney has just taken the spot back again, and they've taken advantage of this. And now they're focused, they're the opposite of Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network is about merchandise and nothing else. But Disney is about bringing in fans. It's about having good shows, good quality. It's about recapturing people's nostalgia and giving it back to them, but also bringing in new people. And they've done that. They've completely sold us on that. I mean, Star Wars Rebels, Gravity Falls, Phineas and Ferb, Star vs. the Force of Evil, all 4 of these shows I've watched. Star and Rebels are now the 2 Disney shows that I watch, I love. And these 2 shows are amazing. Star vs. the Force of Evil is now being considered better than Steven Universe. Am I one of those people? Well, given the way Season 4 has been progressing and the way it's been advertised, maybe yes, but that doesn't mean Steven Universe is completely weaker or anything. Way beyond that, I'm saying. It's just Disney now understands it. They get it. And now they're going to basically recapture, I should say. They're going to recapture what Cartoon Network should have done. Because now you look at DuckTales, that show's coming out. It's coming back for the first time in 30 years. But now, instead of just being a carbon cash-in like Teen Titans Go, like Powerpuff Girls, like Ben 10, it's just going to do one thing. Bring in a new generation, but appeal to the old one. So you see, you can have it both ways. That's been proven. And now you look at the trailer, because the trailer got 1 million views in less than 24 hours last week. And why is that? Because you look at that trailer, and does that trailer even show you remotely that it doesn't care about the source material? Does it tell you that it's going to be a cash-in? Does it tell you that it's going to be half-assed? Does it ultimately tell you that they don't understand us? No. To all of it. Because that trailer perfectly, hopefully, sums up how cartoons need to be. They need to be like DuckTales. They need to be like Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Star Wars Rebels, Samurai Jack. All of these shows show that you don't have to rely on just grabbing the merchandise. You can pretty much be a good quality show. That's what it is. That's what ultimately you need to focus on. You can't have quantity over quality, and that is the day and age we unfortunately live in, where quantity means a lot more than quality, and no more does this show than in networks like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, because now, going to Nickelodeon, it was because of Samurai Jack that Nickelodeon gave us Avatar: The Last Airbender, because Avatar came out a year after Samurai Jack had gone on hiatus, and they got Mako. So I like to think that Samurai Jack helped Nickelodeon realize that we can't just make kid shows. We can't just try and do whatever. We need to appeal to all ages, all demographics. We need to create a gem that is going to be remembered and talked about for decades to come. And that's where we got Avatar. Avatar is the prime example of how Nickelodeon needs to do their shows. And it is a perfect masterpiece of a show. I've talked about on how Legend of Korra and Avatar are masterpieces, and they are. Despite Nickelodeon mistreating Legend of Korra, look at Korra. It still ended on a great run. Yeah, it left many people mixed, but overall, the overall product was not about quantity. It was about quality and equality, just like how it had previously been. But now Nickelodeon has become so desperate, just like Cartoon Network, where they can't give up a property. For example, they're ending season 5 of Ninja Turtles, the 2012 CGI show, which I love, many people do, and they're already going to get started on making a new 2D show? Do you see where I'm coming from? They cannot go on without the Turtles. They need to have a moneymaker. They've got to have one. Because if Cartoon Network can have multiple ones, then Nickelodeon needs at least one. Now, yes, they have Power Rangers, this is true, but ultimately, look at that. Power Rangers in next week is going to make money that I don't think Nickelodeon could ever dream of. And they're not even involved in that. So they've got to have something. And that's why they're giving us another Ninja Turtles reboot. When I personally think they should have at least waited 2 years before making another Turtles reboot. But hey, whatever. They do what they want. They need money, so why not? But Disney? Nuh-uh. Not even close. They're about making good quality shows that are going to hold up, going to bring in new crowds, and going to leave an impact and a mark on the small screen. And so far, they've been doing a good job. I have no doubt in Disney this year. Now, yes, Disney has made bad shows. Don't even get me started on Mr. Pickles. They've had bad live-action sitcoms in the past. Yes, I know this. But look at where they've improved. They went through their own dark times, and they improved. They listened. They got better. Cartoon Network, they got worse and worse. Nickelodeon, they basically went nowhere. And now, just as I predicted, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon are struggling. Now, you're going to tell me, they're doing fine. The Cartoon Network is going to just be the kings of everything. Well, no, they're not. Yes, they are doing fine, because you look at Teen Titans Go, you look at all of these other shows that just appeal to the lowest common denominator, and automatically they get the views, they get the money, they get everything, because kids have not grown up to where they want good quality shows. They haven't matured yet to where they don't want shows that make fun of their intelligence and treat them like babies. We have, but they haven't. And that's going to change. And Cartoon Network realizes this, but they're not panicking, because they are giving us shows that are less quality, like Steven Universe, regular show, and Adventure Time, and We Bare Bears, and instead just giving us quantity crap that makes us feel ashamed to even say that we grew up with Cartoon Network. Because older generations will never know what the good old Cartoon Network was like, and that's bad. But now, 2017 is going to be a kick-ass year, because we're going to get amazing, top-notch, quality shows that are gonna leave their mark. Samurai Jack has already left its mark, and it's not even the 10th episode yet. We've got 9 more episodes to go until Samurai Jack ultimately leaves its mark, and it gets people to wake up, and we basically see the change on Cartoon Network. Because Adult Swim is focusing on Toonami. They're not focusing on making new comedy shows. Rick and Morty is still taking a long time to get going, but again, you must understand that if we want Season 3 of Rick and Morty to be great, we have to give it time. And Toonami is definitely where this show, where Adult Swim has its eyes set, because look at all of the anime they have on there. Now that they have Samurai Jack, their views and their ratings are going to go even higher than they ever have. And Cartoon Network is going to basically look at this, and they're either going to do 2 things. They're going to either snap out of it and say, okay, let's change. Let's give the fans what they want. Let's reboot. Let's redo things. Or they're going to look at this, they're going to laugh it off, and they're just going to keep doing what they do and not let it affect them. Which, again, it's bad. It's not good, and it's bad. And now, coming in summer, Disney is going to rule everything. Now, yes, Steven Universe on Cartoon Network, that show was amazing. It's been amazing. Season 3 was arguably the best season of all. It was the best thing about Cartoon Network. It is the only show that's making them reach out to the teenagers and adult demographics. But it's just one show. That's it. The way it's been treated this year with its advertising and its episode leaks, it's really bad. And again, I don't blame the crew that works on Steven Universe. I blame Cartoon Network, the executives, and the marketing team that are behind this, because that's the thing. They just want to make money. They don't care. And now they're taking advantage of Steven Universe. But Steven Universe is still going to be good. If it has a weaker season, it's still a million times better than anything Cartoon Network has put out on the shelf. And that's a fact. But now, coming to Disney, I should say, coming in summer, that is all going to change. DuckTales, that is going to change on how reboots should be done. I've said this many times. Look at that trailer. It's going to show Cartoon Network and other shows that, hey, you don't have to do reboots and make it pander to the lowest common denominator. You don't have to make it about money. You don't have to make it about just making fun of the intelligence of children and upsetting and insulting older fans. No, it can be great. And DuckTales is going to prove that. It's already been renewed for a second season, so Disney has already seen it, and they liked what they've seen. And then you've got Star vs. the Forces of Evil, when that's going to come out. Season 3, everyone's excited for. Because Season 2 of Star vs. the Forces of Evil, it actually went above Steven Universe. It did something that Steven Universe has not been able to reach yet because of Cartoon Network's unfortunate, and I say unfortunate, guidelines. And when you see it, when you see Star vs. the Force of Evil, you're going to say, why can't Cartoon Network do things like this? Why can't Steven Universe be like... Why can't Steven Universe hurry up and get to where Star is? This is a good question. But that doesn't mean Steven Universe is weaker by comparison. No, it's still good, it's still great, and I'm still looking forward to it. But Season 3 of Star vs. the Force of Evil, it's amazing how awesome that's going to be. And it's been renewed for a 4th season. So, again, great things are coming for Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Hopefully Starco, please. I know. But hey, they danced under the blood moon, okay? Starco will be a thing. I hope. Anyway, so, yes. And then finally, you have Big Hero 6. The first in a long Disney movie that's getting its own show. When was the last time we had that? Aladdin? Yes. Other Timon and Pumbaa? Yes. So now we're getting Disney animated shows that are based off of the movies, and we even got 2 of the returning cast members. Although I don't know if I know T.J. Miller is not reprising his role as Fred, but all I know is that yes, Ryan Potter and the person who played Baymax, they're returning. So we are getting more animated shows based off Disney's animated movies. So could you imagine? Maybe we could get an animated show on Zootopia. Frozen? Well, we kind of did in Lego form. And Tangled. Don't forget Tangled. Tangled is getting its own animated show. And now Rapunzel is back to her blonde hair. That's going to be interesting to see. Although I liked her with her brown hair. But oh well, fuck it. I liked her as a brunette, but whatever. And then we could get a Moana series. We could get an endless amount of Disney animated shows that are based and take place after their movies. We could be going back to that. So you see, in the long run, Disney and Adult Swim have realized this, and they're going to take full advantage of it, and they're going to give us great quality shows. Sorry. And what is Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon gonna do? The same shit they always do. But hey, I think this year is gonna be amazing because, again, when was the last time you've ever been hyped to actually see animated shows like this? And I think hopefully if this year is successful, next year can be a bigger improvement. But we'll see. Time will tell as if the domino effect will truly happen. But all I can say right now is that even though, yes, we have bad shows, we're now getting more good ones. We're also getting newer shows with great new potential. So it's not just about Disney and Adult Swim. We could also get other great shows from other networks that could be just as great and just as memorable in the future. So yes, but until then, we have Samurai Jack, Star Wars Rebels, we have Star vs. the Forces of Evil, DuckTales, Milo Murphy's Law, Big Hero 6, Tangled. We have all these amazing shows. And now, it's a great time to be a fan of TV. It's a great time to be a TV animated fan. And I cannot wait to see where the future takes us. And it's only a lone YouTuber's dream that maybe one day Cartoon Network and other networks snap out of it and they realize they need to get up and grow the fuck up. Excuse me. They need to grow up, act like adults, and give the fans what they've earned and deserved. But until that day comes, hopefully, maybe, it'll happen.